What ridiculous thing do people brag about for some reason? How savage they are, aka how badly they effed someone over. I worked with this chick. She was kind of my superior but not directly. She had so many anecdotes about how she put someone down and how she told someone off. Every time she talked to anyone she needed to go and brag about how she told them. That's when she wasn't trying to manipulate everything like some criminal mastermind in a dull everyday life. She was a fed up person, but in a way I liked her. I had a coworker who thought I was flexing on them by using chopsticks. Plot twist, he was eating Mexican food. At that point, you are just over flexing. Double twist, it was tortilla soup. I'm not a smart guy, but I used to read a lot as a kid. Not really anymore, sadly. I work in a blue collar, working class field, and some of the other guys will think I'm flexing on them by using big words. An example would be contrived. Haha. I had a coworker once snarl at me about how I was showing off my college degree with my big ol' vocabulary. Like, dude, I didn't even have one. Sorry, I like books. They're free. FFS. I live in a pretty rural, less educated area and have had this happen to me too. Using a word with more than 2 syllables made them think I was trying to be a smartass. I've had people accuse me of using big words, and I don't know how to tell them they're not big words without revealing I really do think they're a bunch of dumb FS. How very idiocracy of them. Someone swallowed a dictionary. Someone said this to me at work when I used the word amiable. I've had the same. I read a book about a guy in jail who took classes and one of the teachers used big words. The guys taking the class asked the teacher to use words they understand, and he said, I'm not going to bring down my vocabulary, but you can learn. Just look up the words you don't know, and soon you won't have as many you don't know. I took that to heart and now I don't bring my vocabulary down, but I will, without judgment, define what I said if someone, usually my husband, asks what I meant. We had to have a talk, because he thought he was dumb and I was making fun of how dumb he was for using big words. He isn't dumb, just not a big reader. Knowledge is different than intelligence, and I don't call him out if he uses a word wrong. Just tell him one-on-one that it was used the wrong way, and tell him a better way to use said word. I don't even think he realizes his vocabulary has grown as well. Narcissism 101. Anything someone else does that could attract the smallest amount of attention is a personal attack. I came out as gay a couple years ago and I was getting some attention from friends and family. Nothing mean. They were all just curious. I guess my friend noticed and one day asked if I was gay, and suddenly came out. Would you be mad that I took the attention away from you? With this cheating grin on their face. Like WTF, I was so caught off guard by that question. Long story short, we're not friends anymore. How little time they have. It's annoying how they'd be bewildered about how people would have time to watch films or read books and make comments about how they could never find the time, but then I'd see them on beyond social media for 8+ hours. Yes, they're like, I wish I had time for those completely manageable things. You're so lucky. I'm just so busy all the time, every single minute of every single day. I once asked a colleague if she had read anything good lately. Her answer, I can tell you don't have kids. Being OCD, even though they are not obsessive compulsive at all, like being OCD is some organizational badge of honor. It always boggles my mind how kids of rich parents flex their money, like you didn't do anything. 6 figures, I was only 4. As someone who grew up with very little, I always had basics, thankfully, but anything beyond that was my responsibility. This has always been a sore spot for me. Even as an adult who can afford nice things now, I'm still very aware of disparity. I have become hypersensitive to make sure that I'm not doing that to others, through myself or kids. Not taking vacation days. I hate this workaholic aspect of American culture. We need to change it. While work is obviously important, there is more to life than work and productivity. It's so confusing to me as a Brit. Everyone here always looks forward to their holidays, vacations, and I get hounded by my workplace to make sure I've taken all my annual leave days. I've never heard of someone purposefully not taking their holiday. It's just bonkers to me. If you think American working culture is bad, just hop west over the Pacific and visit Japan. Next level workaholics. People don't retire because they don't want society to look down on them for being lazy. Probably a bunch of other Asian countries, but I only know Japan for sure. Oh, Screw that. I'm the type of guy to actually save up and use his max vacation days at every opportunity. I don't care how bad it makes me look. I earned a break and I intend to have it. On top of that, the US needs to adapt allowing mandatory vacation days. Almost every other first world country does it, with some giving as much as a full month. It's a brutal joke. I can almost get this one, because my company pays out unused vacation days 2 weeks before Christmas. But people that brag about not taking sick days, F off, you plague rat. At my job sick leave builds up indefinitely, and you can count sick leave towards your retirement, so you can retire earlier. People hoard it like a dragon with his golden come in sick all the time. It's annoying as hell. When people try to one-up other struggles with their own, that is, my life is so much worse. It's sad. Really, why do you need to convince others that you have it harder than them? And they seem to always sound happy discussing it because it makes them feel superior in some way. Maybe that person's issues might not seem big to you, but they are big to that person. In a Yorkshire accent, when I were a lad we were so poor we ate stones for breakfast and that were a luxury. Right. I had to get up in the morning at 10 o'clock at night half an hour before I went to bed, drink a cup of sulfuric acid, work 29 hours a day down mill, and pay Malona for permission to come to work. And when we got home, our dad and our mother would kill us and dance about on our grave singing hallelujah. Being a responsible parent. B. That's the minimum standard. I take care of my kids. You're supposed to, you dumb mother effer. Chris Rock. What you want? A cookie? I have a 17-year-old daughter and I get tired of people acting like I'm a top tier father because I do things like take her shopping, tell her I'm proud of her when she tries her best, or make time in the evening with her 40V or a game. It's the bare effing minimum. The reason we have such tight dads these days is because people expect literally nothing from them. We act like if they stick around, they're good dads. F that. Moms hate this for you too. What irks me on top of that is when a dad is responsible and involved like you are and they tell the mom that she's so lucky as if she's subpar to other moms who have to do it all to compensate for their uninvolved husbands. What a schmove. Celebrate good relationships and stop setting the bar so low. It's toxic and insulting to everyone. When I see this it's because they are typically feeling guilty for failing somewhere, somehow. As a parent I am completely aware of the fact that all parents make mistakes, myself included. However, those I see that have to let everyone else know what a great parent they are is because, in fact, they are not a great parent, and it's not just a mistake they made but a continuous lifestyle. I don't really recall ever seeing parents that are genuinely doing their best, and doing a pretty great job at that, going on about what an amazing parent they are. There's a correlation there. People who brag about the amount of weed they can smoke and or how much alcohol they can drink. I brag about how drunk I can get on a small amount of alcohol. Being a lightweight is financially responsible. Someone once bragged to me about how much prescribed weed they smoked BC of their chronic depression. Honestly I didn't care about how much they smoked until they added that in. So I tried shifting the conversation to how he was really doing and started dropping in I don't tell anyone this. Apparently not even his doctor. I know depression is complicated and it's far from take this you'll be fine. However, your illness making you do a lot of X is not an accomplishment. It's a sign that it isn't working and maybe try something else or in addition. Here to check if I'm being too annoying about anything. Everyone hates everyone. That's my theory. Can confirm. Source, me I hate everyone equally. Professors bragging about how many students fail their class. They use it to terrorize students and wear it as though it's a badge of honor. It's unbelievable how full they are of themselves, that not once did they ever pause and ponder if the failing rate was due to their lacking. Well, just like that one viral post said, I guess congratulations to you mom sir, you suck at your job. Additional, it irks me when some professors think of themselves highly because they have all these degrees and got off from a great university, and so on, to the point that they are completely dismissive and unreasonably mean. Like, come on, you aren't even that competent. You cannot teach to save a life, let alone actually educate us, and yet you have the nerve to be totally inconsiderate and boastful. I had one that bragged about how he never had a class average higher than 75%. Like dude, that's bad. How they don't read. Who's bragging about this and why would they think this is a positive attribute? There was a common attitude among my classmates that reading is for losers and nerds only. I still meet adults who say crap like, Lol, I never read a book. If it's that good, they'll make a movie about it anyway. As an author I can't stand this one. But yes, I will confirm that even adults, when they hear I'm an author, will proudly inform me that they don't read. I've even been mocked for writing sci-fi and fantasy because that's all make-believe. So you must not know anything. You have to know a lot to make a story real. My writing is not where the ignorance lies. That's for certain. As a working adult who's also going to school, I am sad that I don't have the energy to read for fun anymore. I read a lot for work and school. It makes me sad when people say they just don't read. How many kids they have. When I was a waitress we had a cook who crowed about how he had 12 kids by multiple women. That's not something to be proud of, my dude. You're a deadbeat dad 12 times over. Pre-pandemic, how sick you are yet you still made it into work because you are that much more hardcore than the wimps who stay home for any little sniffle. One time this one guy made it into work an hour after being under anesthesia for a colonoscopy. This same guy also came in with a terrible flu and fever that he would go throw up in the bathroom every hour and refuse to go home. They think they are so awesome, yet all they are doing is screwing over the entire office by getting half the employees sick, and the other half left to pick up the slack and work double time. F those type of people. Thank goodness that stuff doesn't fly these days. Me and a lot of my friends are convinced that COVID made its way through the sophomore and junior class, because literally everyone in those grades last February-March got violently ill for a while. We all thought it was just like a super contagious flu, but in hindsight it's a possibility that it was the virus. Whether it was covered or not, it was because some a-hole came to school knowing that they were sick as a dog and made everyone else suffer for weeks. I hope that if people are going to continue coming in sick after the pandemic is over, that they can at least be considerate to wear a mask. I know I will. High schoolers who try to flex the expensive overpriced clothing that their parents bought for them. I have a friend, 24yo, who constantly brags about his $500 jeans and $300 hoodies and Apple watches. Dude still lives with his parents. I don't even understand the brag. Like, congrats. You wasted a ton of money on some clothes. Just makes the person sound stupid to me. People who brag about how little sleep they got. Is that actual bragging or complaining for the sake of receiving sympathy though? I mean, I know people who sometimes complain about lack of sleep. I never really saw it as bragging. High school and college is really the peak time for it. It becomes complaining and a plea for understanding afterwards. It's always in the context of trying to one-up someone else. One person will say I'm so tired, I only got 7 hours of sleep. Person 2 will then be like 7, I only got 4, you're so lucky. Person 3 is like 4, I was up all night and slept for 30 minutes. It always becomes a weird competition to see whose sleep schedule is the worst. Yeah, this really confuses me. It's like, congrats, I got a nice 7-8 hours last night but you do you. How many bananas they can eat in one sitting. I used to know a guy who would brag about all the girls he slept with behind his girlfriend's back. Congrats on the STDs and complete lack of the concept of commitment, I guess. Mine is a bit specific, but women who brag on their BFS husbands for babysitting their own kids to give them a break. Raise your expectations on what a good father is, ladies. For example, here's one I saw on FB. Wife, I am so lucky. Name of husband, has agreed to babysit our girls today. He's a shrewd negotiator, though he's getting some special attention from me tonight so I can get some time out of the house. Can't wait. Thanks. Name of husband. I know the husband, he works part-time and usually when he's not working, he's out with friends while his wife is home with their 3yo/2yo. The bar is set so low for some guys that occasionally watching their own children is cause for celebration reward. This is so effing annoying. How are you watching the kids anyway? You're their damn father. You are supposed to take care of your kids. Get with the program. Jeez. I hate it when I take my boys to the playground and some random woman is like, AWW, you're giving mom a break today, huh? No lady, I'm not giving anyone a break. I'm parenting. My male cousin was married to his wife for 19 and he never had a job the entire time. They had no kids. She did not make a lot of money and he is totally able to work. But we all thought, whatever, if they're happy with the situation, then fine. But then she would post things on Facebook like hubby made dinner today and it would be like pork chops and canned green beans. And it was hard not to wonder, Why isn't hubby making dinner every day? And she even posted a picture of a necklace and put, hubby let me splurge today. Even though she made 100% of their income for 2 decades. Some people are weird. You. I would rather be single for all eternity than ever be in a relationship where the father of my kids thinks he is doing me a favor by taking care of the man that I should reward him with sex. As a dude, it would hurt my self-confidence a lot if sex with me was a reward rather than something we both enjoy. What the F? It got worse when sex as a reward came into it. I can't imagine why she'd announce any of this publicly, but especially that she had to trade sex for parenting. People who brag about mistreating service workers just bring my piss to boil. Every time I hear someone chest puffing and bragging about how they told off some McDonald's worker, it makes me wish they'd take a refine blender to the face. Even if you are in the right and a mistake was made, you don't get to treat some minimum wage food service worker like a refine slave to be owned or abused. Mistakes happen. You didn't lose a refine kidney. Be a civil human being and respect one another. We're all human. Mental issues. Like, I've known people to literally fake mental problems cause they think it's cute or quirky or something. It's not something people should want to have. It ruins your life. PLS stop. Because of those people, it makes it difficult to say you have mental health problems without making it seem like you're looking for attention. When someone brags about liking a group or artist before they were cool even though they had 200k plus followers. I had a colleague that would always mention how their truck has 4-wheel drive, as if no other car does. I've got to that bother me. The I don't know anything about computers, people, and the I never read, people. I work in it and I have legitimately had to teach an adult how to use a mouse. A Gorham store manager, who needs to use the computer probably about 65% of his day. Don't brag about never updating your skills to keep up with your industry. He only lasted a month before they fired him for being incompetent. And the I never read people drive me nuts. Because I read as often as I can, and they often interrupt me while I'm reading on my break just to brag about how they never read. Shut up and leave me alone. I'm busy. My dad is in it and has his fair share of stories. Honestly, if you want to be good at computers, just learn how to Google. Think about how you phrase your question and don't expect the first result to instantly fix your problem. It blows my mind how many people can't Google their issue. How much they can drink. Depending out your local drinking age, this usually lasts only 3 years past that. How good of an athlete they were in high school. How much you wanna make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains. Yeah, Coach Welder put me in 4th quarter. We would have been state champions. No doubt in my mind. How they're not into whatever is popular, and that somehow makes them better. I was one of those people. I missed out on some fun things that I'm just now getting into. Being tall. When you're in the 6th grade, it's cool. When you were 35, it just means you can't find pants that fit quite right. Even worse, I brag about how tall my kids are. I don't know why. It's not a competition, and in no way reflects my parenting ability, but they sure are tall. The number of penises they have. I heard that Moth Fair had like 30 goddamn dicks. How much they spent on something. How little sleep they got. How many hours they worked. How they don't read. How they put a customer service worker in their place. Also just general bragging about how mean they are. I was a gifted student at one of the 100k plus public schools in the US that all had classes full of gifted students. How many people they have slept with. I never understood why it is a competition. Well, the phrase casual sex does imply the existence of ranked, competitive sex. I'm quirky, I'm not like the other girls. Narrator. She is exactly like other girls. How much they don't need people. It's desperate. Just be solitary and go. The ones that brag don't seem that happy in themselves with their own company either, so clearly the whole solitude thing isn't working out very much. Those who are content with being on their own don't go on about it constantly. They have nothing to prove. I always internally roll my eyes at anyone that brags about their purse, or whatever else, that's covered in giant logos. As my grandfather used to say, why would you pay a company to give them free advertising? How little they read, or how little they stay in touch with current affairs. How much they work. Doesn't matter how tired a parent they are, they work all the time. The positions of the planets when they were born. It's just stupid af. Sorry, I'm a miserable person to be around literally every single day. It's not that I'm rude and have awful manners and poor social skills, and that all of these things are fully within my control and can be fixed, but I can't be bothered. It's that I'm a Scorpio. It can't be helped.